What's up, Hoop fans? As we all know, the NBA just celebrated its 75th anniversary, and as part of their celebration, the NBA released its list of the 75 greatest players to ever lace up the sneakers. Actually, it's 76 players because of the time of voting. Nevertheless, some of the legends include Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant, all the way to active players like LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Some of these superstars are the ones who put the NBA on the map, or from tape delay to prime time. The list today includes 26 new players in addition to the 50 players from 1996. Overall, there were a total of 88 voters throughout the selection process, ranging from active to retired players, coaches, and members of the media. Elgin Baylor and Dominique Wilkins, two standouts who missed the cut in 96, were correctly added to this list, along with several worthy players. However, there were a few glaring players who missed the cut. In today's video, I'll discuss about some of those snubs. Let's go. Dwight Howard. Today, Dwight is just a role player, backup center that brings energy and toughness to a team. But during his prime, boy, he was a monster. He had an incredible stretch where he was without a doubt a top 5 player in the NBA. From 2008 to 2014, Dwight put up staggering numbers across the board and was a defensive menace. He was one of the coveted free agents in the summer of 2013 and had just about every team clear up cap space just to sign him. By far the best and most dominant center in the NBA since Shaquille O'Neal. Keep in mind, Howard played at a time where there was still traditional big men roaming around the NBA, not your typical bigs today who mainly shoot threes. Dwight was the leader and best player in Orlando and led the Magic to the 2009 NBA Finals after upsetting LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Dwight had multiple top 5 MVP finishes with the Magic. His list of accolades rivals some of the greatest players of all time. These accomplishments include 8-time All-Star, 8 All-NBA team selection, including 5 first team, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in rebounding 5 times and twice in blocks, and 2020 champion with the Lakers. Dennis Rodman and Anthony Davis both got in, and their accolades aren't as impressive as Dwight's, especially AD. Sure, you can argue Rodman was the better defender and rebounder, but he was never the overall player that Dwight was. AD is a better scorer, but Dwight's impact on winning was far greater, and I would take Howard's run from 2008 to 2014 against any stretch from AD's career thus far. Not too many players can say they've accomplished more than Dwight Howard, but yet he gets disrespected. Perhaps it's his ugly exit from Orlando, his feud with Kobe Bryant, or his playful demeanor and poor relationship with the media. Not too many players are fond of Dwight, especially Shaq, who loves to rip him every chance he gets on TV. Despite all the off-court issues, I think on paper his accomplishments are worthy of a top 75 player of all time. Tracy McGrady. T-Mac was freakishly athletic, a rare combination of size and skill. He would thrive in today's game. He was an exceptional scorer with limited range. His game was silky smooth. During his prime and before his health deteriorated, he was often compared to Kobe Bryant and a premier wing player in the league. His scoring ability was second to none. In fact, he has 2 scoring titles. And who could ever forget what he did to the Spurs, scoring 13 points in 35 seconds to steal a win. From 2000 to 2008, T-Mac was the best player for the Magic and Rockets. In 8 seasons, individually, he was unstoppable. During this stretch, he made 7 All-NBA team selection, including 2 first teams. 7-time All-Star. I know you guys remember that crazy dunk in the 2002 All-Star game. His numbers are pretty incredible. 26.3 points, 6.4 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.4 steals per game. Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, who all got in, were never quite as good as T-Mac. The only thing they had over McGrady is longevity. Of his contemporaries, only Kobe had a higher peak, but even then you can argue T-Mac was better in the early 2000s. The only thing that's keeping T-Mac from this list is injuries, which derailed his career in 2009, and his production severely dropped off. Next on the list is Pau Gasol, one of the most underrated power forwards of his era, overshadowed by Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kevin Garnett, all of whom made this list, and rightfully so. Gasol didn't garner much attention while playing for the Grizzlies, but he wasn't a slouch either. In Memphis, he led the Grizzlies to their first ever playoff appearance in 2004. Gasol was an excellent post player, with nifty footwork and a gifted passer for a big man. His game and production were severely underappreciated. Gasol didn't get a lot of love until he got to LA. The pairing of Kobe and Pau was a match made in heaven. If you remember correctly, Kobe contemplated leaving Los Angeles in the previous year, but once Gasol got there, things changed. The pairing wasn't quite like Shaq and Kobe, but good enough to the tune of back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010. Without the Spaniard, there's no way the Lakers win 2 rings. It sounds absurd to say this, but for a 4-year stretch from 2008 to 2011, Gasol was probably the best power forward in the league. That's impressive considering Duncan, Dirk, and KG were still playing. His career numbers may not blow you away, but trust me, Gasol was no joke. He played in a grand total of 18 seasons, making 6 All-Star appearances, 4 All-NBA team selections, including 2 second team. Over the course of 18 years, he averaged 17 points, 9.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.3 blocks per game. Vince Carter. Half man, half amazing was definitely the perfect nickname for him. Who could ever forget the dunk he threw down over a 7-footer in the Olympics? What a ridiculous dunk. This dunk alone should put him on the list. Carter showed the world what playing above the rim truly means, and his explosiveness helped popularize the game worldwide, especially in Canada. He put on one of the greatest shows ever in the 2000 Slam Dunk Contest. He had everyone in the stands in awe, just amazed by what they just saw. Let's not forget his epic duel against Allen Iverson in the 2001 playoff. They were dropping 50-point bombs on each other. Let's also appreciate what Vince did in Jersey, even though they never climbed over the mountaintop. Maybe the voters forgot how good he was, but at his peak, Vince was simply amazing. Must-see TV, because he could fly. Literally. Dunking was his specialty, but he was a great player too. In an 11-year stretch with Toronto and New Jersey, Carter was spectacular, becoming an All-Star 8 times, 23.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. Those were the numbers he put up every night for 11 years. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. These 2 guys were so talented, but sacrificed their individual stats for the greater good of the team. Manu was a crafty player who had a knack for making big plays, and his flair for the game was very tantalizing. The man who engineered the Euro step in the NBA. Virtually every player uses this move when driving to the rim. I think Ginobili could have been a career 20-point scorer and captured more individual awards if he was the focal point of the offense. His stats are eye-popping, but he was always a clutch player and was part of the closing lineup. Tony Parker is perhaps the guy that ushered in the new wave of score first point guard. Parker was a phenomenal finisher in the paint with his signature floaters and an excellent mid-range shooter. Perhaps playing in the greatest point guard era of all time, Parker got caught under the radar and was overshadowed by Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Russell Westbrook, but he was more than capable of holding his own against these guys. Parker and Ginobili together with Tim Duncan is the winningest trio of all time. Without Parker and Ginobili, there would be no Spurs dynasty, and definitely not 4 championships. The Spurs were the most successful team in the new millennium, winning 71% of their games, and a huge part of their success is because of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell notification so you never miss a video. Have a fantastic day.